Okay, perfect. Thank you so much, Courtney. Let's see. I'm gonna start this presentation. Share screen. All right. So you guys can see my screen clearly? Perfect. All right. So today I am your table topics master. And today our table topics will be about introspection. But let me give you a quick overview of table topics. You will be given 1 to 2 minutes to just answer the question in your best way. It's sort of a impromptu speech. And so let's get started. So introspection. So here's a quick definition of what introspection means. It's the examination of or observation of one's own mental or emotional processes. So sort of a self-examination. And our first question is, when was the last time you listened to your gut when making a difficult decision? We always have that gut feeling, and sometimes it's right, sometimes it's wrong. So when was the last time you listened to that gut feeling? All right. No one could think of a gut feeling. I guess I'm gonna pick Sourin. He looks like he's ready to answer this one.
I mean, I was just really thinking hard to see if I could come up with anything. But yeah, I'll try and answer it now. So I haven't really made any big life-changing decisions in my life. I'm going to be honest. However, I think that I have little decisions that I've made in my life that have impacted me a lot. So I think it was one time I was supposed to get to class, for example, and usually in high school I always went early to my classes beforehand. I usually showed up like around 7:30 beforehand, try to get early. Now this one day I happened to come slightly late, so I decided to play it off, and I decided to walk in there and act like nothing was the matter. Apparently, they were in the middle of a pop quiz or a quiz of some sort. I don't know. I wasn't really paying attention, but I just knew I was late. So I walked in, and they asked me where I was, and I just happened to know that there was traffic that was in the area. Now, mind you, I didn't actually have a car up until junior, senior year. So I really didn't drive myself. I took the bus. It's just, so I made the lame excuse of how I got stuck in traffic, but I didn't. But honestly, that saved me worthwhile because I didn't have to take that quiz. She said she was going to reschedule for later, but she never did because she had a short term memory, right? So I didn't have to take that quiz. So I think me making up a BS excuse at that time, which sounded very plausible, really saved me, and I really have to thank myself for having quick wits. That's about it. Thank you.
That was good, Sourin. That was really good. Yeah, that was good. All right, let's go. Our next one is, this is a good one. Social media has a way to make us feel some type of way when scrolling through the feed. Whether this affects you or not, what do you sometimes compare yourself to and why? What is something you compare yourself to or someone? Is it that friend? Okay, Scott, let's go. Thank you.
Okay. 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 Excuse me, guys. Anyway, well, thank you. Thank you. No, appreciate it. So, it's interesting you mentioned about social media, man, because the one group of people that I always compare myself to are my old classmates from high school and early days of college that I haven't seen in a while. And normally, when I compare myself to them, it's usually makes me wonder if I could have done things a lot sooner. Whether I probably could have finished my college degree a lot sooner. Whether I could have gone out to meet more people. Whether I could have traveled more. my old classmates have done. So when I look at that group of people, sometimes it gives me a feeling of whether or not I miss out on any opportunities, especially in recent years. And I would say, yeah, thanks, Noah.
Thank you so much, Squat. Just remember that everyone has their own path. So no matter what you do, no matter how you do it, as long as you reach your end goal, that's all that matters. I had to realize that.
I appreciate that. Thanks.
Mm-hmm. All right, let's go to the next one. So oftentimes there's a fine line between right and wrong. In this case, is stealing food to feed a starving child wrong?
I can take that one.
Thank you.
I don't think it's wrong. I think that, I mean, I know it's hard to kind of think about that, but you know, in the United States, we actually only use 40% of the food that we produce. And that's ridiculous. And when I was working at Starbucks and throwing away pastries every day, I've worked so many retail jobs and so many grocery stores, and we just throw away most of the food that we make anyway. There's so many things that are just super problematic about our society, and it's super wasteful. And so the big corporations that are usually the ones that have all the food don't care about, you know, the small people. And so, you know, if somebody steals from, you know, Walmart or Target or, you know, 7-Eleven to feed their starving children, I personally don't see anything wrong with that. Stealing is wrong. So I guess I do see something wrong with that, but I just feel like, you know, there's maybe some ethical gray area when it comes to, you know, making sure that people are okay and caring about other people and doing whatever you have to do to protect the people that you care about. So yeah, that's all I have. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Courtney, for having the guts to answer this question. This is obviously a very controversial question, and I'm sort of siding with you on this one. I have a lot of friends, or a lot of friends actually, who I went to grade school with, who literally had no food in the house. So I understand where you're coming from. Let's go with the next question. When was the last time you listened to your own breathing? You just took that moment to sit back and listen to yourself breathe. Thank you, Slate. Of course.
Thank you, Toastmaster Noah. I'm probably going to take this in a different direction than based on that very calming and soothing yoga master pictured there. The last time I listened to my breathing was probably the time when I was just on social media or something. I saw one of those very silly and aggravating posts that says, "You are now manually breathing." I'm sorry if I just did that to you, but have you ever seen one of those? And you're like, "No, I'm not." And you're like, "Yes, I am." And then you're like focusing on your breathing and you're like, "How do I ever breathe by myself? What is going on?" That's probably the last time I really listened to my own breathing. So was it more a stressful time than a peaceful one where I was calmly meditating in my backyard on some nice grass? So I hope to not experience that again, and I hope you guys don't. I need to look into that again. Why does that happen? Is it just all in my head when I see that silly little 4 words if someone tells me that? Yes. Thank you. No.
Thank you, Slate. Unfortunately, now you have me listening to my own breathing, and I'm trying to speak at the same time. But hopefully I forget about it. So we're going to go to the next question. This one is about smiling. So what makes you smile? It could be as simple as waking up each day. It could be as simple as seeing your best friend, seeing the sunrise. What makes you smile? What's that one thing that makes you smile? Tricia is smiling a lot right now, so I think I'm gonna go with Tricia.
Yeah. Yeah, this is something of a bit of disagreement or a source of contention with my family. Because sometimes I smile in the worst inopportune times. For example, every night, my family is a part of a church ministry, and so over Zoom, we meet up with the other families and pray together. And so typically I wouldn't necessarily say it's a somber thing, but it's definitely a meditative where at times you do think about your breathing and hear yourself breathing. And sometimes if people don't have themselves muted correctly on their devices, there's like some random sound. So the smallest thing will get me. And I'll just smile randomly. And our videos turned on and all our family's there, and it's my dad, my mom, my brother, and then you see me in the corner like smiling at random times. I think another example of the small things making me smile is just when I walk around campus. I think a lot of people, or at least I tend to see people either being distracted or perhaps they're scrolling through their phone and they don't notice something coming or something very small that happens. And it makes me laugh, and just the small thoughts of, oh, I wonder what that person is thinking, or what is that person doing, or why are they getting into a rush, and just seeing the busyness and people going throughout their day makes me smile. Now, don't get me wrong, yes, I smile at the positive things, but there are also times where I smile and laugh at myself. There was one day, I think it was, must have been last semester, and I was just walking home, you know, that downhill alongside, it's down towards South Lumpkin when you're walking down towards Tate, and I just randomly tripped over myself. I don't know, I'm pretty sure, like 98% sure, it was something in the curve that was slightly uneven, but even with that misstep, I was able to smile, and it just brought up a little bit of happiness, even though it's at my own expense. So I'm typically a fairly smiley person. Not much it will take to get me to smile. Thank you.
Wow, Tricia, I need to start using some of that advice, because I heard that when you meet someone new, it's always good to smile. So I'm just gonna go around like making side jokes in my head just to start smiling. But I'm sure it'll work. All right, let's go. Next question. So I would never forget the quote, "Do unto others as you would have them do unto you." So what is the most desirable trait that another person could possess?
I can take this one, Noah.
Sure. Thank you.
So one of the things that I really want to see in like another person is a good sense of humor. So when I mean a good sense of humor, I just mean like a not very dry or stale sense of humor, because I'm a very jovial guy. Like I find humor in all sorts of things. Like I could just see like a ball rolling down a street and I could somehow find a joke from that. I can just find jokes from anywhere. And oftentimes if there's a person that doesn't seem to get the reference or get the joke, and you have to like take apart your joke and like explain the joke, it gets super annoying for me. And it feels like I'm like stabbing myself with a knife, because I'm just like killing my own happiness by trying to dissect the joke. So I really dislike that. So I really want to look for a person, or find a person that really shares my sense of humor, so I can just go up to them, say a joke, they laugh. Or if I can just like the type of people that can just laugh at the dumbest things. Like you always have to laugh in life. And if you're always too serious or always too like dry, always too like boring, it's just like, where's the fun in that? Like I want someone that just does stuff spontaneously and doesn't always worry about the rules, or like, oh, what does that mean? Just, I'm not really into naive and sheltered personality. I just want to see a more vibrant and joking person like myself, I guess. So thank you.
Thank you, Sourin. You gotta live life, right? I know that feeling. I know that feeling. I love that feeling. Gotta live. All right. Thank you so much, Sourin. Next question will be, So, at this very moment in time, what do you want most? At this very moment, what do you want most out of anything? Kimberly, are you still here? What do you want most?
I am still here. Okay. Let me start the timer. The one thing I want most right now is a full-time job, mainly because I've been thinking about this for the past couple of years, really. And I'm almost, in the upcoming school year, I'm going to be graduating soon anyways. So I guess like as I finish my internship this week and been talking to a lot of friends who are also finding jobs, and I guess right now we're living in odd times, and I've been hearing more and more about people getting laid off and searching for jobs, and so I guess it's been the main thing on my mind lately. Yeah, yes, that's the first one. Okay, that's good.
Yeah, what do you want most? That answers the question pretty much. Job. I feel that one. Because I've been on LinkedIn and all these job sites, and I haven't been getting much responses. So I definitely feel that where you're coming from. So hopefully things will get better. Our next question. So I know we're still in quarantine, but we still have to live life. But you still got to wear your mask. With that being said, have you done anything memorable lately? Anything fun, anything exciting, anything crazy? Anything worth mentioning? That's appropriate, of course.
I can take this one.
Thank you.
So we are still in quarantine. Do still have life to live. Anything super memorable? I wouldn't say I've been going out a super ton. I've like maybe been to a couple of my friends' little gatherings for their 21st, but it's been like less than 10 people, and we've just been going out to dinner, like going to Ponts. But something that I actually kind of piggybacking off the last question with something that you want to do the most right now, and also that's probably going to be memorable for me, is during quarantine I've been making a lot of jewelry. So I'm trying to start my own jewelry business. Hopefully it goes well. Honestly, Etsy takes way more money than you think it does. When I was setting it up, I've actually tried to do this before last semester, and it kind of fell through because people wanted them, but I couldn't figure out a way to set it up where it was easy, and then you could like buy it and then have it delivered easily, because I just couldn't figure out the shipping. But now that I've had the time to stay home, make it, figure out how much everything costs, figure out how much it'll set up, like to set up a website, hopefully it'll become a more memorable thing later on and for during quarantine. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Tori. And don't forget to drop your store in the group chat. I will definitely be buying. I support, and I'll do all the promos and everything. I got you. All right, so our next question is, ooh, this is a good one. When you're 80 years old, what will matter the most? When you're 80 years old, think about, where are we in, 2020? So think about, most of you guys are my age, so I would say 2080. I don't know if we're gonna make it to 2080 right now, but if we do, what do you want the most? And 2080 is a long time. Okay, Scott. Thank you.
Oh, okay. Well, thank you. Well, thank you, Noah. If I were 80 years old, the one thing that that'd be most important for me is you were just saying a few moments ago, man, that you got to live life. If and the one thing that I would regret the most if I were 80 years old right now is not being able to see the world, to travel and live a life on my own. One of my life goals, especially, is to see the whole European continent one day, and almost all the countries, from Madrid in Spain all the way to either St. Petersburg or Moscow in Russia. And it'd be interesting to see where that civilization, Europe, the birth of all of the ideas of literature, science, creativity, and so in some ways our country, the U.S., wouldn't be where we are today if we didn't have the ideas from that fatherland of ideas, Europe. So if I were to be 80 years old today, I would regret the most not having at least one chance to see part of that continent. And I hope to achieve that in my lifetime. So thanks.
Thank you so much, Scott. Yeah, we definitely have to live life, and like I've never traveled outside the country, so I definitely want to travel before I even get to my 50s. Because when I get to my 80s, I don't know. I haven't been taking care of my life like I should. But anyways, yeah, thank you. Thank you so much, Scott. All right, our next question is, oftentimes we worry about what people think about us, but what would you do differently if no one was there to judge you? I mean, would you go skinny dipping? What would you do differently if no one was there to judge you? Sure.
I can take it. Yeah, I think about this so often because I am the type of person who definitely is deeply involved with what other people think about me, and I just think it's so important to try and like let go of that mentality because it's pointless, it's worthless. It doesn't it doesn't mean anything. Like what other people think about you doesn't affect you in any way. In 3 weeks or however amount of time, the person might not even be in your life anymore, and you spent, et cetera amount of time thinking about it. But specifically, I guess for me, like I'd love to be able to kind of come into like my sense of style a little bit more and kind of have, I kind of want to start dressing a little bit more like hippie-ish, like wear some more boho skirts and like a lot more just like, Tori, I'm checking out your jewelry site because I definitely want some more jewelry items and just kind of like let loose with that and just not care about what people think and just see, my own beauty, as it is and not allow the opinions of other people to dictate how I behave on a daily basis. But yeah, I think it's a huge struggle, and I think people who are able to live their life as themselves are so incredibly strong, and I want to get there. Hopefully in the next few years of my life. I'm thinking my 30s are gonna be like my prime, when I can be happy. So I'll let you guys know. All right, but thank you.
Thank you so much, Courtney. Yeah, that's a really good point. Just to be able to have that confidence and that motive and that drive to be yourself and not really think about the other person. Just kind of focus and have your own world. And it's kind of hard to do that when you're still trying to find jobs, you're still trying to find new friends, and you just have so many things going on in your life. And you're like, man, if this person portrays me as this, then what is life? What will my future be if this person thinks of me as this? But sometimes you just got to live life. You just got to be yourself. So definitely understand where you're coming from. All right. I think this is our last question. So if anyone wants to take the podium, feel free. So life is short. So with that being said, I have one question for you. If not now, then when? You can take this question however you want. But if not now, then when? Thank you,
I'll
Slate.
take this. No. I think this is taking a stab right in my back, trying to tell me to stop procrastinating in almost all aspects of my life. So if not now, when? I always say I'm going to organize my desk, my room, my life. Oh, my computer files tomorrow. I'll do it tomorrow. I need to stop doing that mentality. Not now, when? Do it this morning. Because you start it. And almost everything I do in life, once I start it, it's a lot better, a lot less worse than I thought it was. I understand it a lot better. I can find resources to get it done better. And so I think that's just telling us all, well, definitely to me, stop procrastinating. It could be in schoolwork, in my spiritual life, not now, when, attend church more, organize yourself, all aspects of my life. So I think that definitely is a good gentle reminder to, like a better words, get off my butt. But I think I tend to be on top of it for most things. But thank you. No.
Thank you, Slate. That definitely hits home because I am like the king of procrastination. So here's what I would do. If I have something like an exam to study for or a test, I would convince myself to do something more valuable than studying. So that could be listening to motivational videos or reading a book or working out. I would convince myself to do something that is, I feel, more valuable at that moment than studying for the test. Because my life is more valuable than a test. Okay, it shouldn't be during final exams, but that's what I do. And so, yeah, I agree. I need to stop. Everyone needs to stop. It's a terrible thing. So I think that is the last question. Yes, that's the last one. So it was nice hearing from all of you guys again. Awesome answers, awesome speeches, awesome day. I'll pass it back to Courtney.